from the Real Sales Talk, Real Role Play, right? So Real Sales Talk's the community here. Real Role Play is what we do on Thursdays. I'm gonna switch it to Wednesdays too, I think, by the way. I'll let you know. I'll give you guys a heads up when that happens. From what we've been doing here, Michael, so far, what give me a takeaway on from your time here at the Real Sales Talk community, what you've something practical that you've taken away from your business, or something that worked for you, or some place where you're like, okay, this is helping.
Yeah. Um, I would say the RAM method. I know it's worked into the scripts,
Uh-huh.
but it's something to definitely keep in mind. Like when we all get those objections, but okay, repeat, acknowledge, appreciate, okay, and
Yeah.
keep it moving.
Were you not doing it before, or you had a circumstance where it worked well for you, or you had a breakthrough, or what?
No, I mean, like I think I was already kind of doing that because this is worked into the scripts and like other coach. We've got our coaches Santiago back in over here in Winter Haven. I know he's one of your guys, so he was telling us like stuff like that. You gotta
Hmm.
if they put up an objection the first time, ignore it, keep going. So it falls in line. Me personally, I
Hmm.
ignore it two or three times. Maybe after the third time, we'll give it some weight. I'm gonna keep pushing, and
Right.
and like Santiago says, he probably got it from you. Um, yeah, man, they're gonna have to hang up on me or tell me something not polite before we get off the phone.
Okay.
Uh, or,
All right.
or
That's
yeah,
good.
we're gonna keep pushing.
That's good. That's good. I saw Tajay, and then he's gone. I don't know what that is on the. Oh, it's okay. We got. Oh, that was the ceiling. I was trying to figure out what the hell am I looking at there. Okay. Tajay, you've been coming a few weeks now. What stood out for you as far as practical application, like what we've been doing and how it's affected what you've been doing?
I would say more so the cleaning out your CRM. That's been helping me a lot because there was a time where I was calling a bunch of people that wasn't really worth calling.
Mm,
I've seen that kind of made things a bit easier and also cold calling as well. I kind of sort through the bullshit a little bit faster and know who to follow up and who not to follow up with. So that's been a really, a godsend right there. Instead of calling a ton of people, kind of
yeah,
narrowing down my business. It's a bit more focused now.
that's good. Cleansing
Yeah.
out the database, being a little bit more intentional about who you're focused on, where and when, and then you're
hmm
starting to see uh, the effects of that. That's good. I like it. Vincent, you're where? Vince, you're in Philly?
Yes.
That's right. I knew you were. I remember that. You've been around the block one or two or three times. Like what how come what brings you back to what
Listen, I'm only 20 years old. I might look older.
I that's what doing real estate for 2 or 3 years looks like in Philly.
100%, a hundred
Yeah.
percent. But what
Yeah.
was your question? I'm sorry.
So you've come to several of the things that I've done before, and like what brings you back to show up, and how have you seen what I do here affect what you do in your world?
All right. Well, just to share with you, I'm a PC, okay, and
Productivity coach for you.
productivity coach. I'm
Yep.
sorry,
Yep.
and the things that you I gravitated to your whole system. All right. I love your book. Okay, it's a godsend. I use it. All right. I stole it. I use it, and I'm actually going to start inviting some of my agents onto your call, and see if they can go further with this too as well. But the whole like Mike just talked about is as far as the RAM method and so on and so forth. It's a great easy way to hit objections. We just did a script and role play um, competition on Tuesday, and I've never been in it, but using some of the things that you teach and preach,
Hmm.
um, it quieted the whole place.
Mm.
There was like 30 something people in attendance. They just like, wow, how did you do that?
Hmm.
So you got to hook up with this guy. He's a good coach. Maybe you should look him up, and then maybe he could be your coach as well. So I'm advocating for you too as well.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Well, I appreciate that. And at the end of the day, like what the real sales talk is about is being able to have more comfortable and confident conversations. Because at the end of the day, we make money by what we say,
Yeah.
who we say it to, how often we say it. And because real estate is about conversations, then okay, where is there opportunities for me to grow and to get better? Because there's all this is, there's no top of the mountain. This is a never ending journey.
Yep.
Just I'll tell you, one of the main reasons I do this, Vince, is that it sharpens my sword because there's things that happened just this past week where I'm like, man, I shared a couple calls ago on how somebody gave me a commission objection at the beginning of a buyer presentation, and it threw me off. Right, Fernando, we were talking about this. You remember this conversation, and it really threw me off. And I need to role play that because I typically don't get people objecting on commission in the asking for a kickback at the buyer presentation, let alone like attacking me right up front with it and getting a little aggressive. And it kind of threw me off, and it threw me off my game. And ultimately, Vince, it cost me because I didn't get the deal, and it was a $1.4 million deal. So
Wow.
it was a big deal, and you could bet your bottom dollar like it. I felt it. Like I was like, okay,
And that was a buyer side?
just like 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so just like professional athletes, the reason why practice, pregame, all these things to stay on top of your skills. Top level attorneys do it, right? They're role playing before trials to make sure that they understand strategy and they understand personality and that they understand that we're not if we have great clients, our job's a lot easier. And still, even with people that we know, people in our database, people who were referred to us, there's going to be challenges that we're going to have to be more positive, more productive, more progressive, more collaborative and comfortable and confident so that we can be more efficient and we can be more effective. Okay, let's jump into today's conversation. So we got a little of everything here. We got Philly, Florida, Brooklyn's in the house. Devon, Fernando's here in Austin. Everybody, welcome Fernando from Austin, Texas. Justin
Oh,
White, where are you at, Justin White? I feel like you look familiar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We met at the legendary office.
Okay, gotcha. When I
Yeah,
came
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
when I came to Floral Park. Uh, okay, good. Monty White. Where's Monty White out of?
Yes, sir. I'm from New York City.
Okay. Are you running with Jordan's crowd, or who are you solo or what?
I'm a solo. Well, I'm a associate broker here in for Manhattan Realty Group in the city.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
Which company?
Manhattan Realty Group.
Manhattan Realty Group. Okay, nice. And then Uma's also out of Austin. Okay, so let's yesterday we were doing some pre-qualification role play. That was fun. We haven't done that in a while. But remember, this forum here is pretty open as far as, all right, what do you guys want to talk about? Because we are focused on mindset, strategies, and skills. However, this is not a coaching or a training session. This is a skill building session for us to focus on conversations that we don't like, that we want to get better at, something that you guys had recently, a scenario where you're like, okay, you know what? Let me redo that. Let's play that again. Or something that you want to hear more of. So open forum on the chat box or raise your hand to throw down what potentially we could be having role play with today. So today's real role play. Open floor.
I
This
have a
is the,
quick one.
yeah.
I was at a listing presentation, which the person had called me, the buyer had called me, because I sold another property to their family member, like a development, like a vacant plot of land. And at the end of the presentation, he's like, I got to talk to my wife about it before I sign. But I had asked him if there was any other decision makers that needed to be there. They said no. So how do you handle that?
So you asked them if there was any other decision makers that needed to be there before the appointment, right?
Yep.
And then when you got there, he's like, oh, I gotta go talk to my wife.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, yeah, we can do a little role play on that. So is it the role play on being more being able to dig that out on the front end, or dealing it with on the back end when you're already in the spot?
I'm like you, Paulie. I'm trying to clinch that deal at the
Right.
table. I'm trying to get them to sign right then and there.
Yeah.
Like leave no opportunity for another agent to come in.
So, because did you lose the deal or is it still pending?
No, it's still pending. I think they're thinking about it because this is like one of 3 or 4 homes this guy has, and he needs to get his stuff out. So I don't think he's going to make a decision with anybody just yet.
Okay. And that may be the case. So, especially for the rookies, right? If somebody gives you an objection, you did all this work to get to the point of showing up to an appointment where there's going to be some consideration to earn their business. And they give me some hesitancy or resistance from moving forward with making an agreement that we're going to be able to work together, then I at least, rookies, need to swing a couple of times to explore what's going on here, because I need to know, like, is it really me and you don't want to do business with me, or is there something that is a challenge or an issue here, or is there something that I don't understand or weren't aware of that maybe I could deal with? So I get the fact. I want to put this disclosure up front that it's okay for people, Devon, and you said it, and maybe that's where he's at, where he needs to think about it, he needs to process it, he needs to talk to somebody. Okay, that's cool. And for me to do my job as a professional, because here's what's at stake here. If I don't engage this and go to at least, now this is, I do this a lot, this number three deep. If I don't go 3 deep on exploring this a little bit more, then this more likely is a problem, because once you release somebody and you walk away from them and you haven't nailed the appointment, you haven't agreed for them to got an agreement in regard to them doing business with you, the longer as soon as you release them, the likelihood that you get them back to agree to the appointment, to agree to move forward, is significantly less. So you at least got to like explore that to find out. Maybe they're a high analytical and they really need to think about it. They're out there. Okay, that's fine. Maybe they need to talk about their wife, talk about it with their wife or their significant other, their business partner, their spouse. Okay, that's fine. I got to dig this out though. All right, let's dig it out. So, you want me to be the agent? You want to be the agent, Devon?
You could be the agent.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. So fly with the objection. We'll roll.
Hey, Paulie, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate you showing me the comps and everything and your marketing. You know what? Let me take some time, think about it, talk to my wife, and I'll get back to you. Okay?
Yeah, for sure. Devon, first of all, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk to you and share this information. And I totally respect that this is a big decision, and you want to make a decision that's right for you and your family. And so, um, let me ask you, was there anything that I missed as far as information that we should have been talking about, or maybe something someone else was talking about that we didn't bring up, or that I didn't talk about with you today?
No, no, not at all. I think you covered everything.
Okay, so and as far as like my marketing, what I do to go outside the box and aggressively go find the right buyer who'll pay the highest price, what were your how did you feel about that?
I thought it was great. I thought it was wonderful.
Okay, and the price. Tell me about price as far as any resistance to in your mind you feel moving forward with me because of the price, or do you understand it and you feel and you under and you're comfortable moving forward with it based off of the numbers that we talked about?
I mean, I would like to go higher, but the way you broke down the data and the comps, it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense to go with your strategy.
Yeah. Okay, and that's good. I'm glad that you're on the same page with reality and what it would take to be able to price right initially to make sure that you got the most money that you could. And so, usually at this point, Devon, and I'm not sure, maybe there is something there else that your wife needs to talk about with you, but and this is okay, by the way. If we're not a match for some reason, that you're just, we're not on the same page as far as you feeling comfortable with me. I mean, was there anything that would hold you back as far as dealing with me as a professional? And it's okay because I have these conversations all the time. I wouldn't be offended at all.
I mean, the commission, I mean, you said you charge 3%. I was hoping you could come in, maybe a little lower.
Okay. All right. And so let me ask you if you felt comfortable with the commission or we had a conversation and we were able to get on the same page in regards to what the compensation is, then would you feel more comfortable then agreeing that we should move forward together?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it would be one step in the right direction. But, we got a lot of stuff in my house. It's, a home that I moved out of, and, I have another home being built. So I got to figure out when I want to, put it on the market and when I can get my stuff out. I just don't want to rush, and put it on the market and be in a rush to get my stuff out of the property.
Yeah. Yeah. And so let me ask you then, is this more about making sure that the timing is right for you and not feeling like you're in a rush? Or is that what the hesitancy is more about? Or is it you and I being on the same page with compensation? What would you say is more?
I mean, both, both. I mean, if you can come down a little bit in your commission and keep a bit more in my pocket, and we could come up with a date maybe where it's a little later, like
Mhm.
in the summertime. I know springtime is a good big market for you guys, but I've got to you know make sure I have a home to put my stuff in, and you know,
Okay. So if we got on the same page with compensation, and then we also I was able to you felt comfortable as far as the time frame to get started, then at that point today, me and you having a conversation right now, you'd feel comfortable moving forward with me. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, break script. All right. So if you guys want to role play something, put it in the chat box and we'll talk about it while I'm finishing up this topic right here. Okay, so all right. So filter down effect. First of all, like everything that I've talked about, you like, you don't like, you like, you like, you like, you like, you like, you like. Okay. You guys saw me do that, right? Okay, then uh what's the issue here? Because once I start talking about that and the way that I did it, then something may come up, and it did. He goes compensation. Okay, so before I deal with compensation, is that the only thing we're dealing with? No, actually, it was this also is an issue. Okay, so if we talk about this and we talk about that, then do you think we if we have understanding, then there's an opportunity to move forward together. Now, at that moment, he might still go, well, I still need to talk to my wife. And then there, see, because this could go like a million different ways. At that point, I go, well, maybe you and I and your wife need to talk about compensation and timing together. Because
Yeah.
why did I miss that on the front end? You asked him, you said on the front end whether there were any other decision makers, and he said no. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, that sometimes that happens, and then nothing you can do about it. Okay, then you're there and you're like, okay, you said there were no other decision makers.
Paul, I just want to throw something in there because I thought about it when when he said that, is that my objective would be to set another appointment. If I can't get him signed then, set another appointment with the other person because of the fact they might have questions, they might have concerns that you don't have.
100%. And I started to go there towards the end, right? Is to go, okay, well, if we talked about that, or what I was just critiquing the role play was if we
Right.
talk about this and this with your wife, maybe that's going to be a more productive conversation than me giving you the information and you trying to reinterpret it to her,
Right.
or her having her own questions and us being able to talk about it. 100% is okay. Well, then the in this case, like I've talked about before in some of the coaching that I do, is that the objection is the opportunity, meaning like the objection is something that I can work with. Okay, well, I got to talk to my wife. Perfect. Okay, so just want to make sure there wasn't anything in the way as far as us moving forward outside of you talking to your wife. Well, actually, compensation and timing. Okay, great. Well, then let's do this. Sounds like our next best step is to sit down with your wife because obviously she's going to have her own questions, and obviously there's going to be more to talk about. So let's do this. Let's call her right now and we can figure out a time that works, unless you already know a time that's going to work for all three of us. What works better for you? Okay, open-ended questions versus closed-ended questions. Hey, do you think we could meet her, please? Hey, closed-ended questions, yes or no? Hey, do you think she'd like to meet with me? Open-ended questions. Hey, what are your thoughts on a time frame that would work where all three of us could talk and she could ask her own questions, and then that way we could all really get on the same page. What do you think a good time frame might work for that? Okay. All right, you do it now. Let's do it. Flip it.
Oh, you want me to be the agent
Yeah.
and you're the
Yeah. It
all right.
was your objection. Yeah. Or was your,
All right,
yeah.
I'm
All
a little
right.
rusty here. Go ahead, you
Yeah.
start off.
Okay. So, Devon, I don't know. It's just that my everything that you presented to me was very helpful. And I think at this point I just need to talk to my wife.
Okay, you need to talk to your wife. I understand that completely. Let me ask you a question. Based on some of the things we discussed, the pricing, the marketing, the way I'm going to show the house, was there anything that we discussed that, you have a question about or had an issue with?
No questions and nothing. I didn't really have an issue with anything.
Okay. And we're on the same page with the commission. You think it's worth 1.95 and that's what we're going to list for. We're on the same page with that?
Yeah, I get it. I get it for sure. I think at this point it's just talking to her and there was some planning as far as timing and obviously I don't I'm not ready right now, but figuring out the timing was part of that conversation with her.
Okay, okay. And when do you feel comfortable putting the home on the market?
I'm thinking the beginning of April, the first or second week of April.
Okay, well, that's only in 2 weeks. I mean, well, why don't we do this? Because I want to make sure your wife gets the amount of any questions that she has gets answered, so you both feel comfortable moving forward. Why don't we jump on a call? Actually, why don't we jump on a call right now? She's not at work, and I can answer any questions that she has. Are you open for that?
I don't think she's available right now. So maybe I can
Okay,
have her call you back.
okay. Well, does your wife work a 9 to 5?
Yeah, yeah, it's midday now, so she's at work right now till I think 5:30.
Oh, 5:30. Okay. Why don't
Mhm.
we go on a Zoom call at 6 o'clock? It'll be 15 minutes, Polly. I'll answer any questions she has and any other questions that you might have. And, you know, if we're all squared away with everything, you'd be okay with moving forward, right?
Yeah, I mean as long as she was on board.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to send out that Zoom link so you have it. And then we'll jump on that call at 6 o'clock and I'll answer any questions you guys have. Okay.
All right, I like it. I like it. Uh, you did something good on the end too, where make sure that you're pointing to clear
Hmm.
value assigned to the appointment. Hey, look, she's gonna be able to have her questions answered. And the more I can slather that on as far as look, she's her own person. They're their own person. They're gonna have their own questions. This is gonna make sure that six values for the appointment. This is what I use, right? Six values: clarity, certainty, options, inside information, market data, right? Timing, how to win, right? Well, for sure, Devon, yeah, absolutely. I want your wife's questions answered because obviously she's looking for her own clarity, and then she's gonna have questions off of your questions, and you're gonna have questions off of her questions, and then that way you guys are gonna have certainty on timing because obviously I know you're not doing anything unless it makes sense for you timing wise. Is that how you feel? Yeah. Okay, great. Let's do this. I'll send you the link right now. Great way to take control and assumptively
Hmm.
close.
Yep.
You think you might have been able to close them like that in that conversation, realistically?
I don't know. This guy is like a large landlord. He's got quite a few properties. And I don't know. I think he's used to taking his time on certain things and doing things in a certain way. Um, but I felt like if I pressed him, probably could have got him to sign that contract then and there. If I had like went through all the things, we're in agreement with the price, the marketing, and okay, we're not in agreement with the timing. But when do you want to put it on the market? All right, great. Let's get the paperwork done and out the way, and I'll start preparing for when that time does come. You
Yeah,
know, felt like I
right.
could have filtered everything out, and pinpointed it and kind of met him halfway with the timing issue because that's like the biggest issue for him. He
Right.
feels like he's being rushed.
Yeah. So addressing the objection at a super high level, meaning like really going into it as far as what their objection is. Now, remember what an objection is: fear, doubt, insecurity, question in the mind of the prospect. Okay. Hey, Devon, I know that timing's really a big deal for you. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And so obviously you guys aren't going to do anything unless it makes sense for you. And so I get it. Like there's a conversation to have with your wife and then even you and I to continue to have as far as, all right, when do we move forward? Because signing the contract's just like, okay, you and I are going to do business together. But the real beginning of this whole scenario is us figuring out what makes sense for you as far as how to get ready and then how do we launch? Does that make sense?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you. Based off of that, then our next best step is to sit down with you and your wife. Whoops. Okay, it's to sit down with you and your wife and then talk about it some more. Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 6. Okay, so that's a way. That's another way to go into that a little bit deeper. Because remember, Devon, is there's fears, objections, fears, doubts, insecurities. Okay, I want to go a little bit slower. I want to be a little bit more methodic. I want to make sure all my ducks are in a row. I need to make sure I talk to my wife. Okay, address those things. Talk about them. Massage them, right? Because if you think it's there, then I trust you because you've been around for a little bit. So it probably was there. You just maybe needed to talk about it a little bit more. Because often, guys, if they're objecting, then and I'm asking questions, and then I realize that actually they're a little scared, or they're a little apprehensive, or they just don't understand, or they haven't really thought it through. Okay, objection, condition. Now we do all that, and I go, listen, Devon, I got to talk to my wife. So let me talk to her for. Okay, then he draws the hard line, and I go, okay, I know that's it. He appreciates that I was approving and acknowledging and addressing his fears, doubts, insecurities, and I did it in a careful and comforting way. Yes. Okay. Is that good? Helpful? I'm glad you got to do it, Devon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
I got to go to a buyer appointment, but thanks, man. I'll be on next week.
all right, cool. Good to see you, brother.
All right, take care.
Okay. At the top of the board, open house where potential buyer is working with someone but hasn't signed an agreement yet. So they say, I'm working with someone, right? But they haven't signed anything yet. And so you're trying to get them, Fernando, go ahead and mic up. Oh, you're mic'd up. But
Yeah.
Did you run into that recently, or you just are?
That's usually what I do run into.
Mhm.
One of them a week ago was a couple from California who were they were moved here and they referred from Compass to Compass. So they didn't really have a relationship, but they already like just had the referrals. So I'm assuming that's what they were going with. And then this other one was somebody.
I'm assuming.
Well, I told them, I said, if anything changes, here's my card.
Yeah.
And I gave them my information because I didn't want to poach.
Yeah.
Um,
But
and then
whoa, you don't know that you were poaching. You'd be poaching. You don't know that. That's another assumption. Number two.
okay.
Hey, you know the saying about
Yeah, I'm an
assuming.
ass. I know.
Okay.
I don't
All
hide
right.
that.
You know.
Um, and then the second one was just like, it's like, oh, like, we're working with somebody, and then she kind of was talking back and forth with her friend. His name is Sergio, apparently. I don't know. And I think
Okay.
they were just like, they probably had just talked about it once. And so she thought, oh, I have a realtor because I talked about it, but they didn't sign anything.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So
so,
this was a great example of clarity is power,
okay.
right? And when somebody says things that are vague, then I need clarity. Working with someone. Okay,
Yeah.
they didn't say sign a contract. They said working with someone. I have somebody sending me properties already. Things that sound like a relationship, but I don't know if
Mhm.
there's a ring on it. You with me?
Yeah. And I mean, I asked flat out, I was like, oh, so like, have you signed any paperwork? She was like, no. I'm like, okay.
So then what was the problem?
Not really a problem. I just want to know, just like the best wordage, safe wordage that I can use consistently when I run into that, because I know I
Yeah.
am going to, and just to have like, like again, a set of a go-to phrase or something
Okay. I
to
like it. Let's
just
do it.
not have to tap dance around the idea.
Now, remember, people don't hear what you say, they hear how you feel. So
True.
if your feelings are I'm intruding, or I want to close this person, or I'm execute, I'm performing, they're gonna sell commission breath, right? They smell it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, rule number one for me, get to know the people. So if you come from, I want to understand, and I really want clarity with where you're at, because I don't want to convince you of anything. I just really want to understand you, and then
Mm-hmm.
provide some value and see if the value that I put down is something that you'd consider to look at.
Yeah.
And so then everything that comes from that perspective, that identity, is more comforting and less pressure and more understanding. Okay, who wants it? Raise their hand. Who wants to be the agent?
I'll give it a shot.
Come on, this is an easy one. Okay, Fernando, we're at the
Mm.
open house.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the open house, Tajay, and Fernando's already looked at the house. Pretend like any makeup, motivation, or situation, or house stuff. Just make all that up and close
Mm-hmm.
them for the appointment. But he's gonna go, all right, I'm at the end. I'm done. And Fernando, you already said you're working with somebody, or you're gonna say it at the end here?
Well, let's say it at the end.
Okay, great. So Fernando's approaching. Tajay's meeting him at the door before he leaves. And Fernando, go ahead and say thank you.
Thank you so much. The house was great. It's a great price too.
That's amazing. I'm happy you like what you saw. Anything in specific that did you see anything specific that you might not have liked?
No, nothing specifically. I just need to check and see, if I can get pre-approved.
Hmm.
That's where I'm working with someone right now.
Okay, that's great. Well, the great thing for you here, Fernando, is that my team, we actually have, all those vendors on in-house. We like to be a one-stop shop. So if you do need someone helping you with the pre-approval, I can definitely refer, a few lenders over to you if that's all right.
Oh yeah, sure.
Definitely will do. And in the sense of a broker, are you already working with someone?
Yeah, there's this guy that I've been, talking about buying a house with.
Right. I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of people, yeah, I hear that a lot. Did you guys end up, signing any contracts, solidifying anything that he's, going to help you through the whole process of getting this property?
No, no, he's just sending me properties.
Okay, great. Well, like I said, I'd like to extend my hand here again, throw my hand in the ring myself, just to see if we can help you get this property done. Um, Perfectly. What I'll do is I'll definitely get you in touch with my lender here. His name is David. I'll connect you guys in a group text if that's all right. Is that good?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. And then, what's a good time we can maybe get on a call, Zoom call, quick 15, 20 minutes, just to go over exactly what it is and, how my team can best help you, through this process of helping you find a home. Would weekends work or, typically weekdays?
I just really want to just get information. I don't want to, I'm not ready to talk to more people yet.
No, of course, like I said, it'll just be a quick 15-minute conversation just to go over all the information that you might need, questions, concerns, anything that might be coming of hindrance. Like I said, quick 15 minutes. When are you usually available? Weekends or weekdays?
I think I need to keep with the guy that I'm with. I don't want to. I don't want to. Uh, take on too many people.
No, of course. And like I said, at the end of the day, I definitely don't want to, one thing that's big for me and my team here is loyalty, and we like to build relationships. So again, you can definitely stay with your guy, have that conversation with him just to see, if it makes sense. And again, like I said, we're here just to, I got stuck. Fuck.
So close.
Yeah, yeah.
So close.
See,
Okay.
and I feel like if somebody tells me like no once, I'm like, okay, cool. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I just get ick and I
Nah, but I
just
would
like,
Yeah.
agree. So I don't
So
know.
so, so here's the problem. You feel ick when you don't feel loved. Okay, so here's how you love. Okay. repeat, approve. So when you guys that seen before, especially guys who've been around some of the coaching and training I've done before, repeat, approve. Mike, where we started, right? The RAM method is not just for overcoming objections to keep them on the phone when you're talking to an expired or FSBO. It's not just for that. It's for negotiating against the other agent. It's for when I'm at the end of the open house and like I'm right there and they're a little bit more uncomfortable. How do I get them to feel more comfortable and not get some ick? Repeat and approve at a high level. Because here's what Tajay did well. Fernando at the beginning said, fantastic house, fantastic price. Tajay asked a relevant question about that. Tell me more specifically. So he created a question off of a remark that was something that they said that was something very easy for Fernando to fall into. And then Fernando said something about the lender. Tajay asked a really good question about the lender and getting agreement on being able to send the lender. Okay, cool. We're rolling now. Clarity on what the situation was with the other realtor, because he said, well, I'm working with somebody or they're sending me stuff. And then Tajay got clarity with that. Okay, no, nothing going on there. And then you assumptively closed, and then that's where you fell down. Right? Because Tajay, I gotta layer that repeating and approving is probably not probably is more important at closing than it is at opening. When you pitch and you start, it's pretty important. It keeps the conversation going. When you use repeating and approving at the end, that's what helps them. You go like this. Look, you're like, it's okay. It's all right. No problem. And acknowledging how they feel, right? So you assumptively close and go, hey, you want to meet Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 6? And then right at the end, Fernando, what'd you say again? Right at the end, you said something about you objected and you said, what? What did you say?
Oh,
He said that he had to think about it. He just wants, he
I
has
don't
more
want to start
questions.
talking to too many people.
Boom, there it is. Now, how do I smooth that? Repeat, approve that to smooth that. And then look, and then you also made one other mistake, Tajay. You got to layer value thick. You got to layer it on the end. You did some of that okay, but then when he objected, you didn't really give a value again. You didn't repeat approve, so he didn't feel loved, and then you didn't give value, and so it didn't. There was no logically it didn't make sense. So emotionally it didn't make sense. Logically it didn't make sense. You didn't give him that opportunity. So repeat approve to show them the love, and then show the value to exercise the logic. Okay, you want to try it one more time at that point right there?
Yeah, I'll give it another shot.
Okay, so Tajay, I got to talk to somebody. Or wait, what was the objection? Tell me again, Fernando.
I don't want to be talking to too many people. If I'm
I don't want to be
talking
to too many people. Okay, go ahead, Tajay.
You don't want to be talking to too many people. Honestly, Paul, if I was in your position, I would not want to be talking to too many people either. I just like to get the information I'd love to get. What make you feel like you're talking to too many people, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay, break script. Okay, you got them up against the ropes now. Don't let them squirm around. Hell, you don't want to talk to too many people, Fernando. Look, I get that. I mean, it sounds like you've been talking to a lot of people already. Okay, that's a tie down. That's a simple one. I'm not going deep into his thoughts or feelings, right? So you don't want to talk to a lot of people right now, Fernando. Look, I get that. I mean, it sounds like maybe you have been talking to a lot of people.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, at this point, I understand. I mean, it can get overwhelming maybe even. And certainly, you're not going to move forward until you feel comfortable with the process and that you know that that you're talking to the right person. Is that kind of how you feel?
Yes.
Oh, what was that? Why?
Well, I know I have to say yes, but yeah, I'm going to say yes because it's true.
Don't say what.
No, it's true.
This is the okay. Yeah.
I'm rolling my eyes because you're doing your job.
But you as the real buyer,
I want to talk to the right person.
Okay. So did you feel uncomfortable with what I said right there as the buyer?
No.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page with that. Because if you did, I want to make sure, okay, well, how do I adjust that? Because if I'm loving on you and I go, hey, Fernando, you don't want to talk to any more people, I get it, man. I mean, this whole process is, you got the lender and the realtor and the homeowner and title and insurance. I mean, it's a lot. So I get that. I understand that. And so it sounds like okay, this is the level shift, right, Tajay? It sounds like, obviously you want to make sure that you feel comfortable and secure with the process before you make any decisions or move forward. Is that kind of how you feel, Fernando?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so then let's do this. I mean, it sounds like that getting some clarity on direction ultimately is going to help you get there, which is figuring out which direction to go. So here's what I'll tell you. I promise that when we sit down and talk, I'll share with you some information that will help you with clarity. And here's what we'll do, Fernando. I'll give you the information. You'll get some clarity, and then you're going to figure out what you're going to do from there. Because I'll tell you, I've done this time and time again for people. I don't mind. I'll just give you the information, and I promise you that you'll have a lot more clarity around direction and maybe your options, who to work with or which direction to go or when to do something. And let's just talk about it. So does maybe Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 6 work better for you?
Wednesday at 6.
Did it feel a little better?
I mean, yeah, when somebody leads me and me personally, and they're just like, oh, so you want to meet this time or this time? It's like, I told you didn't want to meet. So you want to meet this time or this time?
Yeah, but that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. Did you feel more comfortable with at that point in the conversation?
Yes.
Yes. Now look, Fernando, I'm not saying they're going to say yes, or I'm trying to make them say yes. But the thing is that here's the fact. If you're an amateur and you haven't done that much business and somebody just gives you these frivolous objections that you don't really know are real or not.
Mm-hmm.
Now Fernando goes, look, I just give me some time, like call me in a week. Okay. All right, cool. I'll do that. But if I don't swing in a way that provides that shows them that I love them. I'm going with that theme today, right? Shows them that I'm loving them.
I'm on this call.
I'm appreciating them. I'm respecting them. I understand how they feel. I'm acknowledging them. Like I'm getting a little emotional on like getting in their head and their thoughts and their feelings. Mm-hmm. Because once I'm there, then Fernando, it goes from here to here, right? It goes from no, back up to, okay, well, at least I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get them there and you provide value for the appointment, hey, look, let's just do this. Forget about decisions. Like, let's just talk about about your options and having clarity. And then that'll help you with the problem that you told me you had, which is I tied value to the problem. You go, I don't want to talk to too many people. And I love down you on, I don't want to talk to too many people. And then I assign value in regards to the problem so that it could just make sense to do it. Now, more often than not, if they're motivated, they'll go ahead and move along with it. Now, if not, that's okay. And Fernando, for whatever stigma you have in your mind about salespeople or the sales process, look, that's like there's people out there like you, but it's not as many as you think.
Okay.
It's like this much, and then everybody else is like pretty indifferent. Either they're just not going to do anything because they're not going to do anything, or they really don't care and they're just not really thinking through that much. And so the question is now, because here's why this is important, Fernando, like your livelihood depends on it. If you just try to be a nice guy and you're like, okay, well, we'll go at their pace and we'll go with, here's my card, dude, might as well, I want to swear so bad right now. You might as well.
Gary said you can.
Do it.
Listen, nobody's going to fucking call you back.
Okay.
Nobody is calling you back. You're going to get hit by lightning before somebody. It happens, but rarely. It doesn't, dude. You give people your card, it doesn't happen, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. So how do I love on them? Show them logistically why it would make sense. And then if they're motivated, they'll cooperate. If not, I did my job and now let's follow up. Do you feel better with that or no?
No, I do feel better with that. And I would provide more. I just feel like at the open house or whatever, you're like the gatekeeper, it's like, oh, I'm not going to give you this info until you sit down with me. And so I'm contending with that boundary. How much value do I give them up front?
Yeah, very little, because here's the deal. What value could you give them outside of an actual consultation? market data, they get that everywhere.
A vendor's list. I don't know, like
Yeah,
a mortgage lender's list.
The answer is not much.
Okay.
You're not going to give them much value. The real value is look, the conversation is the relationship. So what kind of relationship do you want? One where we get to know each other and I can share real value by sitting down and talking to you and us getting to know each other. You getting to know me and me getting to know you. That's where the value's at. And you don't have to sell that, but you have to be able to constructively move through a conversation so that they feel better and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because right, Vince, is that logic makes them think, but emotions make them move because 100% of their decisions are happening emotionally. The logic just executes it.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Comments, questions, concerns, delusions.
I can tell you when somebody's saying they're working with someone, and as it states in your book, is that a reflective resistance?
At that point,
That's what I would consider it. It's like, oh, I'm already working with somebody, and then I explore that.
right. So there's three levels of resistance. Reflexive resistance, where it's a knee-jerk reaction and they automatically do it. 100%, Vince, that's a reflexive resistance.
Yeah.
Where you're at the open house and then they just say something to like push you back because they don't want to be closed. Oh, hey, that's fair. That's fair. You would feel like that. They should feel like that. They have every right to reflexively resist you. But the thing is, Fernando, with reflexive resistance, is they're not really thinking. They're just resisting reflexively. They get to the end of the open house and they reflexively go like this. Like the knee just jerks. So I want to get to a responsive resistance where now that they may resist me, but we've had a chance to talk about this a little bit. Okay, how do I get there? I got to earn it. How do I earn it? I just told you. Repeating and approving, loving on them, and then creating logic on why the appointment is the next best step. Because if they responsively resist you, okay, now they've heard you, they're still resisting you. There may be another level of resistance that you may or may not travel. It may or may not be appropriate based off of personality type, based off of situation, is reactive. No, it's reactive, then responsive. No, responsive, then reactive. I can't even remember. Responsive is resisting with thinking, because reflexive is resistance without thinking. Responsive is reactive. I think it's reactive is resistance with thinking. And then responsive, that's the last one. Responsive resistance is call me later, send me an email, send some information. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. Good job, Tajay. You were close there. You were close. Let's do it one more time. Right at the end though. Just at the end where it's I want you to nail that. Where I go, hey, I'm already talking to a lot of people and I just don't want to talk to anybody else right now, Tajay.
You're already talking to a lot of people, and you just don't want to talk to them. I hear you loud and clear here, Paulie. And honestly, if I was in your shoes, I would feel the exact same. Um, so the goal here is just that you want to gain clarity. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out.
Of course, and that's exactly why, at the end of the day, the goal here is to give you clarity, show you exactly, the next steps, because it can get sometimes confusing. Again, talking to a bunch of people, like you said, lenders, a bunch of agents, the listing agent, the buyer's agent, and also the homeowner. So it can be a bit of a hassle, and that's exactly why I want to give you that clarity. Again, quick 15-20 minute conversation. I put everything in front of you here. And you seem like a pretty sharp guy. You wouldn't do anything unless it made sense. Am I right?
That's true.
Like, usually, when are you available, Paulie? Quick 15-minute conversation, weekends or weekdays?
Okay. I'll take it. Better. Tajay, what are you, a D or a C?
High D.
High D. Yeah, I know that. I hear it, right? Okay. So here's what you have to do. Okay. This is critical for you. Go back to the playbook. Look at the high I and high S wording.
Okay.
In the disc profile section at the end of the playbook. Go to the disc words, and I want you to role play high S's.
Okay.
Because Fernando, actually, I don't know. High S maybe. doesn't like conflict, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I love conflict.
You love conflict? Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't know you that well, so I don't yeah.
I avoid it because I love it.
Because you don't want to get tied. You don't want to get
It's
yeah. You don't want to
very
get tied
easy
up
for
in it.
me to use my brain.
Yeah. So here's Tajay with uh your word choice still is hanging in the D zone. And when somebody's saying, you know, I just don't want to talk to so many people right now, and you need and for whatever reason it is, you need to go emotional on them. Like you need to show a lot more empathy. Now, if I was a high D and I was expressing high D, then you could just roll with me and go quick, efficient, bottom line, results, how to win. But when someone's they're flip-flopping on like their emotions and their feelings, dude, you got to go into heavy feeling mode. Heavy feeling mode. Hey, I know this got to feel right for you. Even at the end, you're like, hey, it's got to make sense for you. Nope, 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 nope. Not a feelsy. I's, S's, feelsy. D's, C's, thinksies, right? I's, S's, you got to, for somebody who's flopping on their emotions, you got to go right into emotion speak. And emotion speak is, hey, I know it's got to be about the right relationship and you got to feel comfortable. And at the end of the day, it's got to be about the right relationship. And so let's do this. This conversation will be a conversation for you to get clarity on what feels right for you, which relationship might make sense. And I promise you that you'll have that confidence on which direction to go and what really feels good for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? And they go, yeah, no, okay. That sounds okay. Okay, because if you're not being super intentional about shifting gears on personality profiles, and we didn't preface this role play with that, and actually let's do that from here on out. What we should do more of that is preface a personality type, because you guys sometimes you're saying things or you're saying them in a certain way, and you're saying them based off of your own personality type, and you're going right over an S's head. You're going right over a C's head. And you're like, what's up? That made sense. They didn't need it to make sense. It didn't feel right. It felt pushy or it felt salesy, even though it was 100% logic. Or flip it. You're a big Care Bear and you're like, you know, hey, let's just, you know, I want to help people and I really want to make sure that, you know, we feel like we're right together. And they're like, what the fuck? What are you talking? Like, can you just get some shit done? Like, why are you, I don't want to hug you. It feels like that to a D or a C when you're all high I, high S. And if you don't know what you are, go Google a free disc profile test. There's a million out there to understand where you're at so you can understand how to switch gears. Because that will be huge for your ability to be able to connect with more people. Okay, takeaways today, Fernando. What's your big takeaway?
The takeaway that I constantly am taking away every damn week is that not everybody thinks like me.
So good.
Oh, I got to get going. I got another call, but thank you.
Thank you,
thanks,
Vincent.
Vince.
Guys, we'll see you next
Take
week.
care, buddy.
You have a good one.
All right, takeaway, Tajay.
That's you is exactly right, because a lot of the times those are the easy ones for me because I'm pretty straightforward and what I say usually makes sense. And even if it doesn't, the person on the phone doesn't really know enough to say it doesn't make sense. So I kind of usually get by it. But again, it's like the more of the emotional side, I'm pretty straight to the point, and that's something that even I think Jordan told me I have to work on that as well. So
And by the way, everybody in their own personality styles have strengths within that personality, and then weaknesses, things that don't work as well, or are not, maybe not doesn't work as well, but are not in conjunction or alignment with another personality style. So you're losing money because you're not respecting that, acknowledging that, and then adjusting your communication to align with that person. Like you're literally losing money.
do you have any tips for that? I mean, cut you off. I'm sorry.
Role play. It happened to me the other day when I told you guys about that buyer, is that she was high D, and because I was I'm also high D, she she goes, well, contribute your commission right at the beginning of the conversation, like half of your commission at the beginning of the conversation. Well, she threw like a haymaker right at my forehead. And I was like, what the bitch, you want to fight?
Yeah, I remember that.
But because I don't do many buyers and I hadn't role played that conversation, I was caught flat footed. And then I let my emotions rise. And then afterwards, I'm like, son of a mother. Like, what?
Yeah.
And the reason why that was so searing pain for me is because that was $40,000 check.
Yeah.
Bet your ass I was pissed off about that. And whose fault was it? 100% my fault. That's what's at stake. All right, Mike. One good. What's your takeaway, Mike?
I think it's what you were saying in the middle of it. Some people you got to love on. You can't try and be too salesy. They smell the commission breath. You got to, like you were saying, I think the last meeting, when they come at you like that and they're giving you those objections, you got to tell them like, listen, I want what you want. That's why I'm asking these questions.
Yeah.
Like we've said before, the Zig Ziglar thing. If you help enough people, you'll get taken care of yourself.
So sometimes when you can remember, especially this was a perfect example for that lady I was talking about with that buyer. You got to look at them like children. And so your patience level goes up, your tolerance level goes up, and they say or do something stupid, and you're like, okay, come here. Like, let's talk about that. Because they're saying shit, and you're like, and you're getting upset over it, and then your emotional intelligence is in the gutter, and then now you just lost $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Like, you're supposed to be the professional. Like, we're the emergency responders where we show up and shit's going crazy, and we go, I got it. Because if you're a high D, sometimes you got to downshift. If you're a high S or if you're a high S, you got to upshift. You got to get going. You got to show them you're strong.
Yep.
Okay. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hope this was helpful.
Yes.
Definitely. Thank you, Paulie.
Very much so.
Take care, guys.
Yep. You too.
Girls.
Later.
All right.